though. Yo, bam! I want you to play that.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Fast Freddie here. Time for another episode of Fast Freddie Rocks Youngstown. We are here in the Youngstown studio with me, my producer, Joe Danier, our other producer, Mario, taking care of things here this afternoon. I'll tell you, today's kind of a little bit of a letdown for me because the last three shows, we just had great guests the last three shows. The show with Thomas John talking about the glory days of the Wizard was through the roof, and the show with the Huck and Philbillies was, I'm still slightly hungover from that one. The Huck and Philbillies show, we went through about a bottle and 2/3 of Jack.
Okay.
And that was a good time. And then the show before that, we had guitarist Jerry Senafani. We had Mark DelVecchio from the house band. We had Commissioner Anthony Trafficani. And boy, did we have a blast on that one too. A lot of great stuff.
I missed a lot, man.
You did, man. And then you come back and it's like, what am I going to do today? I don't even, you know. I'm not, you know what? My whole day has just been all off kilter. My whole day today has just been shot. Nothing seems to be going right. And I was going to make a margarita today to get the show started because Monday was National Margarita Day, which I'm still a little shaky from that one too, because I joined Gary Markowski and his band. They were out at El Cowboy in Austintown, and they had their big National Margarita Day celebration. And boy, I tell you, we celebrated pretty good for a Monday afternoon. But I was going to mix one up. I every once in a while I like to just do my. Let me straighten my beard out here a little bit too. I had my mask on. I don't know what the heck's going on with that. Oh well. So, anyways, we went, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, I left my shaker. I didn't have my drink shaker. I forgot my lime juice. I got the tequila and I got the triple sec in the car, but, I don't want to be like Bruce Springsteen, though. Right? no fans drinking tequila out in front of
They'll be gunning for you.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. So today, Joe made us a couple of cups of espresso.
Yep.
Boy, that looks perfect, man. That's a perfect looking cup there. I saw his sitting in front. I go, what are you drinking? He goes, espresso. I said, man, you better whip me up one of those today.
I get going at 4:30 in the morning. So by this time of day, I'm waiting to either take a nap or hit some double espresso.
Oh, is that good?
That's good stuff right there.
Oh, yeah. I should have drank that a halh hour ago.
Yep.
So at this point, it'd be kicking in.
When you come in here after the pierogies deal, I'm a Hungarian. So I'm in the middle of a fast. I can't eat that good Hungarian pierogies,
Yeah.
A little jealous.
I got to get on a diet. I'm just going in the wrong direction, man. I really got to kick it in. Let's see who's checking in here so far this afternoon. Leslie Bell, good to hear from you. Brian Ladd, Terry Day, Ellen Becker, Ken Ellis. He wants to go fishing. I want to go fishing too. The ice is going south real quick here.
I got the notification. Fire departments were like, stay off the ice. It's melting.
I'm sure in a few places there's still it's like 8 inches of ice, but with these 50-degree days, then you get that water sitting on top of it. I mean, this was one of our best ice fishing seasons in years. Last year, it didn't even freeze. Last year was, I think, the first year in like a century that Lake Erie didn't even freeze over. And that was like amazing because, that never happened before.
And if you've never seen Lake Erie frozen, like over by the shores where you have those sharp shards of ice, it's amazing to see.
Oh, it's crazy. And see, that's the thing about ice fishing on Lake Erie too. You got to be careful who you go with because sometimes you'll walk out and then you'll take a step. You might be on one of those shards of ice. And then your next step is you're down into the snow up to your hips, you know? So it's kind of crazy. You really got to know what you're doing to go ice fishing on Lake Erie. But this ice fishing season was really good. It was an excellent ice fishing season. And I can't wait. All the crappies that my son caught, we got a big freezer.
He's just amazing, man. I can't believe how easy he makes it look.
I know. He's a machine. He's a machine. But and I can't say, I taught him everything he knows because I really didn't. He took it to the next level. He had some other guys that really knew what they were doing to put him over the top. But so the last couple of shows were really good. And now you get stuck with what we got today. But hey, that's the way it goes.
That's right.
Nice day in downtown Youngstown. A little chillier than it was yesterday.
I'll take 50 degrees though. That was a good day.
That was excellent. Look at everybody. You've got nice, clean cars out in the parking lot. So that's always good.
The lines at the car washing places were immense yesterday.
You know what was crazy? This worked out perfect for me. My nephew, he plays for the Canfield High School hockey team, and they were in the tournament yesterday. They got blown out by Gilmore Academy, and Gilmore Academy is like the heads and shoulders above everybody else in hockey in the state of Ohio. I think they have the winningest all-time coach, and he's had more players in the NFL or NHL and more players to go on to big college programs and stuff. I mean, the Gilmore Academy hockey team is just like a machine. They're really good, but Canfield had an awesome season this year. I do want to give them a shout out. My nephew, he set a couple of school records this season in his senior year, and I just got to say hats off to the Canfield Cardinals. They had an excellent hockey season. But anyways, I'm coming back. They played in up by Parma, over in Brooklyn. So I'm coming back, and I get off the bypass by Menards on Route 5 there, and I look over there, and there was nobody in line in the laser car wash. It was about, I don't know, 9:30-ish. And I was like, boy, is this great. And then on top of it, it was Wacky Wednesday, and you got the top of the line wash for only $10. So it was like, and I didn't even have to wait in line. I just pulled in, and now I'm riding a clean car, man. I'm looking good. I got to get the inside done, though. I got to break down and get that done. Take it over to Coates or someplace, and, probably need some new floor mats, things like that. But
Ohio tears up your car, doesn't it?
Yeah. So how was the vacation?
It was good. Yeah, blue water and nice warm sun, and I just feel so much healthier when I'm in that environment.
And it just makes you want to exercise. Where did you go?
Down the Keys.
Oh, you went to the Keys.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, man. Yeah, you nice. Lucky bastard, man.
I was thinking about you the whole time because I knew when you started posting on your feed about what was it? What'd you post on there about Clearwater? Was it?
Yeah.
I knew you were dreaming about being down there.
2 years ago, this week, I was down there, and I was celebrating National Margaritaville in Clearwater, and I was going to all the places on the beach, trying different margaritas, and there's so many great places down there. I like Jimmy's Crow's Nest is really cool because it's on the top of one of the hotels, and it gets like the best view for sunset, and everybody goes up there, and the Sandbar is really good, and then Frenchie's and a couple other places, and I was just going from one place to the next, but as a journalistic endeavor, I don't want people to think anything else.
It wasn't. There was no. You didn't like where you were at all.
And then when I was watching those videos, I'm like, damn, I wish I was back down there because I had such an awesome time. But then last year the COVID hit, and that put a damper on everything. And as a matter of fact, last year when I left, it was just when they started closing everything down. That's when it really just hit the fan. So it had to be around like March 24th, somewhere in there.
No wet T-shirt contest on my timeline from you. I'm so disappointed.
I know. Nothing. Well, Bike Week is coming up. They're doing Daytona Bike Week. They're definitely doing Daytona Bike Week. It starts next week, and I was trying to get down there, but logistically, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I do want to go down, but
I saw my first legit Hell's Angels group on the way down here. I'm driving my bus, whatever. And these guys, I'm like, please don't get in their lane. Please don't get in their lane.
But Bike Week is always a good time. Ken Ellis says, visit Tarpon Springs, not far from Clearwater. I did go to Tarpon Springs. As a matter of fact, I was fishing in Tarpon Lake, Ken, and I also went to the Tarpon Turtle Club, which was really a cool place.
So grassy up there, though. I mean, there's lots of vegetation in the water. It's tough to fish.
Yeah, we did no, I don't think we did very good there. And I think the boat broke down, and we come chugging into the Tarpon Turtle Club. We didn't even know it was there. We come chugging in. I think the motor was smoking and all this stuff. But we heard this reggae music playing, and we come around the bend, and then all of a sudden there's the Tarpon Turtle Club.
There
and
you
it was
go.
kind of a little higher end place, with boat docks, and it was right on the water.
That's kind of cool when you can go from dock to dock and eat and drink and stuff like that. That's cool about that.
And I went on a charter out of Tarpon Springs too. A lot of Greeks in Tarpon Springs. That's a whole Greek community there.
Okay.
And they do the sponge diving in Tarpon Springs, which was kind of like a ripoff,
Is it?
Hey, we got the sponge divers. The guy got the scuba thing on or whatever, and everybody gets on a boat, and it's practically they go out 12 feet. The guy jumps down, grabs a sponge, brings it back up, and then you can buy all the sponges you want in the gift shop when you're done. You're thinking, oh, it's a sponge tour. Wow, is the guy going to wrestle the sponge or whatever? But he's bing.
Yeah. Do you remember they used to do that at SeaWorld up in Aurora, where they would have those? They'd have the pearl diving people, and then the fishing out of that little barrel thing. It would be like $100 a pound, but your kid would just put his pole in there and catch a fish every single time. Like, $100, $100.
Oh yeah, that was. I miss SeaWorld, but in a way I don't, because I can understand what they're doing about keeping the whales and stuff in a little pool. Let them go out and swim. At first, when I first heard that, I was kind of like, yeah, what are they doing at SeaWorld? But then I started thinking about it. Yeah, let them run free. We'll watch them on TV or go out there on a boat.
What the frick were they thinking about putting that in Ohio, though? I mean, can you think of the worst place to put it?
I don't know. I used to have a good time there. I used to always love SeaWorld. And back in the day, like way back in the day, probably like in the 80s, when they would kick it off every season, they would have like a media day for everybody on all the TV and radio stations and the newspapers and their families. And I'll tell you what, it was everything. All you can eat, all you can drink, and you just had the park to yourself, and it was a good time. And then I really, really missed Geauga Lake. Yes, Geauga Lake was just bad to the bone. And I guess what happened was, Cedar Point bought them out, shut it down, and wanted everybody to go to Cedar Point, which was crazy because it was a perfect park. It had all those great coasters. Although my youngest son, I ruined him from going on roller coasters because he was little, and I kind of like forced him to go on with me and my older son. And he was so scared, and he hated roller coasters. And to this day, he has never gone on a roller coaster again. Oh, yeah. I took him on all of them, man. What did they have? The Raging Wolf Bobs.
All right.
And,
you weren't messing around. You weren't like Little Dipper or anything.
Yeah, no. Come on, you're going to love this. Get on here, man. And
but I'm telling you that anything besides Cedar Point really does struggle just being in Ohio. So even as good as Cedar Point or SeaWorld was, it was too difficult to pull off here.
Yeah. I would love to see it though.
Yep,
I mean,
for sure.
Geauga Lake, I really do miss it. I had more fun. One time I was at Geauga Lake, and I ended up having to go to court because this fight broke out. These kids, they're probably maybe teenagers, maybe 20 or something. They're riding on those swings that are on the, they go around in a circle, and everybody's like on a chain with a swing. And they bumped into this one little kid in front of them. And the little kid's father was a real hothead. I mean, this guy, when they got off the ride, I mean, he just started going after these kids. And I think like a little fist fight broke out. And then he thought I was with them. And then he was going to throw like a punch at me. And I wasn't even involved in it, but I saw what happened. And, all the security come running over. And I ended up having to go to court and testify. Yeah. But the guy was a hothead. The kids really weren't doing nothing. And this asshole made a big stink out of nothing. It really was. And I was just sitting there thinking, okay, you brought your kids out to Geauga Lake, and this is how it ends. And now months down the road, you're still going to court and everything because you were a dick at Geauga Lake taking your kids out there. I just thought it was stupid. It was ridiculous, but that's a great memory for them kids, huh?
Ruined them now.
The day you think my kid got damaged by having to ride roller coasters. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Billy, you want to go to the amusement park? Are you going?
Yeah, I don't think so, Dad. I don't think so. So what else is going on? So Key West was nice. Duval Street, Sloppy Joe's. You did them all?
No, I tried to stay away from people. I just went about halfway down the Keys. It was called like Ohio Key, and it was nice and desolate. Nobody around.
Oh, one of those deals.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Did you catch any fish?
Didn't end up going fishing this time. No, we did a lot of swimming, put on a wetsuit and jumped in the water. So it was good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Getting back to Tarpon Springs too. They had a little fishing charter out of Tarpon Springs. I went out on that.
It's a nice area. I mean, we find ourselves going to Clearwater more than any other place. It's just so nice there.
It is. the beach, the white sand. It's just nice, and everything's there. I know some people, oh, it's too commercial or whatever, but once you're in that white sand and that greenish blue water,
Heck yeah.
and then it's still nice because then you could go walk to all these nice restaurants or all these tiki bars, get a blue drink, get a margarita. So I really like that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's over touristy either. I mean, there's some places that are just like cliche and cheesy tourist off the boardwalk. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, I think so. But I like anywhere where there's water, from Geneva on the lake to Clearwater to you name it.
Human beings are drawn to water for some reason.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait for motorcycle season to get here. But I wish I still might try to get down to Bike Week. I really do want to go. I always have a blast down there. Dirty Harry's, where they have the wet t-shirt contest every 2 hours. The Boot Hill, where all the women put their bras hanging from the rafters. And
good times.
You just find all these little places that once you get off the beaten path. They got the Cabbage Patch. That's where they do the coleslaw wrestling. They got across the street this place called Cackleberry's Campground, and they always got crazy stuff going on there. Scantily clad women. And they had this one woman on there who was like doing this act, like deep throating very long balloons. That was her thing. And that was over at Cackleberry's. And then the riding is so nice there too. Like you ride up from Daytona all the way up to St. Augustine, and you go up to St. Augustine and they got the lighthouse and some of the old buildings and things like that. And then you go down to Cocoa Beach, you go down there and you can see Cape Canaveral and everything, and that the Space Coast. You go down there and it's just a good time.
You saw that Mars stuff happen this week, right?
Oh were you tuned into the Mars stuff?
Heck yeah. They had a couple launches while I was down there. I missed it because it was in the middle of the night and I'm an early sleeper, but the Mars landing, I followed that thing going in, and they had a rover that landed. It was kind of cool because this thing came into the atmosphere. You get the big parachute that's behind it that slow it down, but then it turned its rocket jets on and it kind of hovered there and it lowered the rover down. It was like a sky crane that would lower it down, and to pull that off from like millions of miles away just amazes me.
Oh, it is crazy.
It is nuts.
Oh, it is. That's some crazy stuff. Now I see, and I know you're big on this, I see where they're saying that General Motors is going to do away with all internal combustion motors within 15 years. Do you think that's going to happen?
Not that quick. No, I think it's eventually going to happen, but we still there's some vehicles that need the power, and electric cars just ain't it yet. I mean, it's getting there, but it's not close enough yet.
I'm thinking, how are you going to pull a bass boat with
Right. Well, you're going to see this first. Like semis are next. Like semi trucks are going to be the next one that gets to be electric, and then you're going to get trains. Trains got to be. You can do an electric motor. Boats and airplanes, they're going to be last. I mean, it's just so dangerous to have
right.
So.
Now, here's my question, and I hear people asking this a lot, about electric cars, and all about this. Now, when you look at like what happened in Texas, first of all, do we have a power grid big enough to charge all these cars? Nope. And if there was some kind of power outage or the Chinese attacked our power grid and we couldn't charge up our cars, wouldn't we all be kind of screwed though?
We would.
Or if there was a weather emergency and you had to get away?
I don't know why that when we invent something like electric cars, that they all have to be electric cars. There's still usefulness and other things. So I think if you have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, it's way better off that way. Texas it might not be that it was because of their alternative energies that happened, but you need both. You really do.
Yeah, that's why. And I'm just surprised that GM seems to be going in this direction.
It's silly. It's never going to happen the way that they say that it is. It makes for good headlines, but it's not going to happen that way.
I'm trying to picture like a NASCAR race with electric cars.
NASCAR, boring.
Because NASCAR, the whole thing is the sound of the cars. Right.
What if a Harley went by and it was just...
Well, they were having trouble with their electric bikes because, people, that's half of the appeal, if not more. People want to put loud pipes on their bikes. They want them to be loud. They want to come cranking down the highway.
Now they're going to put a speaker on there that emulates the loudness without there being a...
Yeah, maybe that's why everybody's getting these loud sound systems on their bikes now, because I want to have mine I'm going to have I'm sure they'll probably have some kind of computer chip to make the noise coming out of the.
No doubt.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But I fear for some of these guys that drive truck that once you get the semis that are electric and they start building the computer systems in them, that they're going to be pretty automated too, where you won't have to have a driver in it.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, but just probably still need one in there, fortunately for the safety thing. And I think the same with trains too, because you know you look like you see some of these lines from like say Ashtabula to Youngstown that just go through nowhere.
That's right.
Go right through the countryside. Do you really? But you know, once again, I think you need that human presence in there but
definitely a lot less people. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. That industry's huge, and there's a lot of people I know that are directly. Directly affected by it if that should happen.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what's going on in the news here today. I know we have a few.
Yeah, I missed everything that was going on. I mean, I figured I'd come back and buildings would be burning and the whole government would be torn down, but we seem to be all right.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you what. Like I say, maybe you got to stay away because I'd say 3 of our biggest shows that we've had in ages went down.
You tell me to get out? Is that it?
Hey, you know, our 3 biggest shows that we've had in a long time happened in the last 3 days.
All right, I'll bail out next month too. See what happens.
And then I felt bad because I come in today and I'm like, how am I going to, man, you have Thomas John in here telling all those great stories about the Wizard, and Jerry Senafita knew every single band and every single bar in Youngstown since 1960, and Anthony Trafficani, and then the Huck and Philbillies,
man.
The Huck and Philbillies, man. I'll tell you, like I say, I'm still it's probably good that you're back because between the Huck and Philbillies and National Margarita Day, I'm really kind of dragging. It's just like, dude, man, You
need a low-key one, a bounce-back one.
Yeah, maybe
right?
that's what I need. Yeah, put away the hard stuff and get an espresso and just
espresso and prune juice. We're good. We're good to go.
Now, today we were going to look a little bit at the Craiglist. We haven't been on Craiglist lately, but there's a category on there called missed connections. And I don't know what this is about because we were looking for some of those things, guys that want to photograph women and do you want to be in a porno flick and that sort of thing. But this one here says mixed connections, and I've never looked at this, and we're actually doing this cold here because I just wanted to see what it was.
They might be boring. They may just be like, hey, I missed you at the grocery store. Come find me, right?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yes, let's do that.
Mario said, hey, we haven't done Craigslist for a while. Why don't you jump on there and see what's going on? So I was trying to find those, And
there aren't crazies on Craigslist. It's all nice and... Yeah.
Well, when it turned into like the human trafficking issues, that's when it went downhill.
Yeah, it did.
When you couldn't see what the crazy stuff that some people were offering, and well, you know what? I don't think they do the dating service anymore either, do they? All right, let's just start off here. This is Youngstown's Craigslist, and the category is called Missed Connections. We'll just go right to the top. We'll just start with this first one here, and it just says Columbiana Dollar General. So, you're a blonde female that works at the Dollar General. You don't wear a name tag, and I want to know what to call you by. I imagine that you don't have time to chit-chat at the store since you pack shelves and run the checkout at the same time. But if you do find yourself with time outside of there, you should just email me. Okay, now... First of all, what's the chances of somebody working at the Dollar General that is going to just see that and say, yeah, I'm going to email you?
Probably no chance whatsoever.
And there's probably a reason she's always stocking the shelves and working the cash register when you get in and looking really busy.
And it's like, creepy guys, come and take my name tag off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, shit, here he comes. Get that name tag off. Oh, hey, hi, how are you? Hey, you're pretty. What's your name? I don't see your name tag. How come you don't wear a name tag? Okay, here's a male 29 looking for a lady friend.
Ooh, a lady friend. This is going to be
male
good.
29 looking for a lady friend from Youngstown. Just looking for a woman for casual fun, hiking, intimate stuff, etc. Hiking, intimate stuff, and whatever.
Whatever we could think
A
of.
friend to hang out with and more. Not drug or alcohol friendly. Okay. Well, so if you're a woman and you see that, do you respond to that? It's one line long. Just looking for a woman for casual fun, hiking, intimate stuff, etc. I just like the way they phrase that.
Intimate stuff.
And and other stuff.
Of course.
Just to hang out with.
And I bet you with COVID, though, being single probably sucks pretty bad.
It probably would that you got to go out there. Okay. Fun side lady wanted. Here's somebody in Salem. They're just laying it on the line. Fun. Okay. How about this? Just plain, simple, to the point. Just a real down-to-earth guy looking for fun on the side. Send stats and pics. 45 male clean.
Now, what's clean mean? Does that mean no sexual diseases?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Right. Okay. So,
or I took a shower this week.
It all depends. But once again, if you're a woman and you see that, do you just say, hey, here's a down-to-earth guy looking for some fun on the side. I'm going to send him my stats and my picture. Why don't you put your picture on there, buddy?
Let's
see what we're looking at. Well, he's getting it on the side, so I guess
Right. You don't want to expose himself.
Yeah, well, he probably does.
No, literally, figuratively.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we're talking about ice fishing. Here's somebody who mentions ice fishing. Looking for someone to fish with. I have a nice pole you can use.
Oh, double entendre. I love it.
Okay, who's going to answer that? Who is going to answer that? Unless it's some kind of troll and you're going to mess with these people.
Right.
Looking for someone to fish with. I have a nice pole for you to use. I'll get you. Yeah, man. I'll show you a nice ice hole.
Your nice pole.
Okay, let's see here. Searching from Akron. What are they searching for in Akron? Looking for a girl I went to high school with. Her name is Nikki File. Nikki File. Somebody looking for you. Probably a bill collector.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what that one is.
Yep.
They owe somebody money. The police. Looking for Lori. Somebody in Salem or Sharon is looking for Lori. I'm looking to reconnect with my friend Lori that lived by Sharon Regional Hospital. Haven't spoke to you in a while. Not sure if contact information has changed. If you see this, please get a hold of me. Our conversation started about a bicycle. Please send a face pic so I know it's you.
This sounds like someone's grandma. It sounds like someone's trusting grandma is using.
Well, I don't know if the conversation started about a bicycle. He's probably one of them losers that doesn't have a,
All right.
that you see riding around town on a bicycle because he has a lot of DUIs and and he was probably the same one to put the one out there for the girl at the Dollar General with no name tag.
Yep.
Oh, it's the asshole on the bicycle again.
Here he comes.
Alert! Everybody, name tags off. Name tags off immediately.
Creepo coming.
Okay, the night we met. Let's see what the night we met.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is like a big long poem. I'm not even going to go down that road.
Dude's trying
Am I not the only traveler who has not repaid his debt? I've been searching for a trail to follow again. Take me back to the night we met. Okay, get the hell out of here. That thing's about an hour long. Loser. Okay. M4F. I'm not sure what M4F stands for.
Male for female?
Oh, male for female. There you go. Just looking for a female. I want to get railed. Okay. Straight and to the point. M for F. Just looking for a female that want to get railed.
Get railed. He wasn't messing around. He doesn't want intimate things. He wants to be railed.
That's it, man. And you see some woman sitting at home in her computer and goes, wow, I'm the female that just wants to get railed. That's
How
me.
appealing.
Today's my lucky day.
Oh, so good.
Who needs eharmony.com, ourtime.com? We got this. Blue hoodies sitting at the counter on Sunday.
Sounds legit.
All right, I see a good one coming up, and then we'll move on to something else here. Blue hoodie sitting at counter Sunday. You're in a blue hoodie, very cute. I'm the cook. Would like to see if we can help each other out. I got some sausage for you right here. Okay. Miss my fleshlight buddy. Now, you know what the fleshlight is?
Yes, I do.
The fleshlight's a marital aid for men. It looks like a flashlight, but it's shaped like the woman's private parts, and it vibrates, and you stick yourself in it. So somebody posted on here, misconnections, miss my fleshlight buddy. Now, where is this one going to go? Is this going to be something where these guys were sharing fleshlights?
Might be.
I don't know, but we are going to find out. This might be the most interesting one yet. Let's see what's going on here.
Come on, buddy. Don't let us down.
Yeah, make this a good one. Give me a good one. I had a buddy who had a fleshlight I used. Where are you? Okay.
Oh, man. You had such potential.
Yeah, I know. There could have been a lot more to that one.
But we were free to now make up the rest of the story because we didn't fill it in. So
right.
I'm thinking it was a sword fighting adventure. Had a one-time thing in Cabo, and now he's reminiscing. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Girl at Family Dollar in Youngstown. I came in twice yesterday. You waited on me and chatted with me in the store. I was working across the street. Your male coworker blocked my second attempt at pursuing you further, and I ran out of time. If you see this, let me know. LOL. Okay, so she's like, here comes that creepy guy again.
That's it. Run interference.
Right. Could you get rid of him?
Right?
Please get him out of this
These
store.
are the guys that fall in love at the strip clubs. 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
But it seems like if you're a woman that works at the Dollar General, you must have all these guys hitting on you.
Yep.
So... all right, what do you think? One more here?
One more. We gotta go off with a good one.
Yeah, we do. Looking for wood. Perkins and Boardman. Lost contact with Richard. Dick. Looking for Jen and Dale. I need a female activity partner. That might be a good one.
Okay, that's good.
All right, I need a female activity partner. I'm just looking for a female for some adult fun. I'm local and real.
All right.
I'm local and real. So there you have it. A quick glance at missed connections in the Youngstown Craiglist today.
Yep.
Who would respond? If you were that woman where the guy was blocking, my coworker was blocking for me.
I bet there is tons of responses, though. I know I wouldn't respond and you wouldn't respond,
Well,
but they wouldn't do it.
Maybe not. Maybe this could be a side hobby for somebody. Just start responding to these things and see how long you can play them along.
Them. It would be fun as hell.
I bet you could.
Yeah. And they do have a whole language. I should look up some of these acronyms, like the M4M. They've got some really weird ones about when they're trying to use like code to find somebody to match up with.
Yeah, except they don't use that too much because they got away from that function on Craigslist. That's when it started going downhill.
Yeah, for sure.
When they started taking all the fun away from things. Well, say goodbye to Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, poor Mr. Potato Head.
All right. Well, he never had a dick anyway. So, I mean, okay. But he did have a mustache.
There was no difference between Mr. and Mrs. except for the lipstick, right? That's really all.
Well, the lips and the mustache and the derby hat. But I mean, come on, man. I don't know.
It's getting stupid.
It's just really getting far out there. You know, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. Maybe I'm just old and I don't get it. If that's the case, old white man, I don't get it. You know, but come on, Mr. Potato Head, what the hell? It's like every day you log on to whatever news and either somebody's changing something like that, or there's something race related, or there's something. The people are pissed about something that somebody said every single freaking day. Enough's enough. You know, now that you're almost wishing that Trump was back in the news to see what he had to say. Now we're just being bombarded by this kind of stuff every day. And I don't even want to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road. Let's see who's checking in here with us this afternoon. Hey, Diane, good to hear from you. Let's see. Kieran Kavanaugh. Cav is checking in with us. Hi, Luba. Good to hear from you. Jeff Buzzard checking in. Let's see who else is on there. Linda Davis. Jumpin' Jack. El Pedden. Bob Burns, Jim Davidson. I feel Cedar Point bought Geauga Lake just to close them down completely years later to become the amusement park in Ohio. I agree. I think that's the same thing. My buddy John Simpkins checking in, JS. He always got some crazy stuff. He's an interesting guy. My buddy Paul Mavrikis, Greek, checking in from San Jose, California. That's where I want to go. He said it is so nice in San Jose. I've never been there.
July, we're heading out to Southern California.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
we're spending the whole month away.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be so kick-ass.
Yep.
Yeah, stop by and see my buddy Greek. He'll show you around down there, man.
Nice.
Yeah, he says, you got to get your ass down here to San Jose. And I'm like, I know I do.
Well, my wife predicted that we were going to use the bus, us traveling and doing shows around the country and stuff like that. So maybe by then we'll be doing a show out there. Oh,
yeah. There we go. We could be like
mobile recording
Jack and Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
We could be on the road, man.
Yeah.
Just cruising along.
And you'd hate that showing up and, doing a show on the beach somewhere in Southern California.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah.
Awful.
I know. All right. How about this one here? An expectant father was killed when a device he was building for a gender reveal party exploded.
Is this a new thing? I mean,
yes, it is. The gender reveal party. Yeah. Let's see.
I don't understand it.
Police said the bomb squad continue to investigate the incident. The death was the latest in a string of tragedies blamed on faulty gender reveal devices in recent years. A Michigan man was killed earlier this month when he was struck by shrapnel from a gender reveal cannon being used at a baby shower.
What an idiot.
And that's like this guy, too. He built some kind of bomb, I guess it was going to shoot out pink or blue confetti and blew the guy up.
Wow,
killed him.
How stupid.
Oh, and then, the big one was the wildfires in Southern California. Remember last year, last September, and they burnt down like half of the state, and it was because somebody shot some kind of flare up in the air, whatever, for a gender reveal party.
Yay! Yay! Oh, so bad.
Oh, man. What else we got going on here? This guy should have been Florida man. An Arizona man was so desperate to get out of work that he staged his own kidnapping. Brilliant. The man's a genius. I'd give him a promotion. I would be like, we got somebody this smart and this clever working for us. Let's make him the boss.
Yep.
I have to remember that one. That would be a good one. I'm kidnapped. I'm sure people have used that one before.
Sure, bomb threats, kidnappings, whatever to get out of work.
Police in Cincinnati say they intercepted a shipment of cereal earlier this month containing a special frosting. It was cocaine. They found 20 kilograms of cocaine-coated cornflakes that had been shipped from South America.
Now they're getting clever, getting it in.
Oh, yeah.
But can you imagine if that got set into circulation and it got
sugar frosted flakes, man. Boy, you talk about a lot extra energy. Man, for some reason, I couldn't stop working today. 3 days later, I'm still working.
I'm on a 40-hour shift. I started Tuesday.
Well, that's like the guy they busted out on 76 the other day. He had 40 pounds of cocaine in his car, and he was a Mexican citizen. He didn't have an American driver's license. And they got him because he was going 20 miles an hour too slow. So first of all, he obviously wasn't sampling the product because he would have been going 100 miles an hour. But.
Well, it was all you used to read all the time about El Chapo's cool ways of getting stuff in the country. You don't hear a bunch of those anymore.
No, I don't know if people are into cocaine as much as they used to be. Maybe about 20 years ago it seems like it, but it seems like once this heroin and fentanyl and all that stuff come back. And I'm sure some people out there that maybe were just like casual cocaine users might be a little worried about, okay, what are they putting in this stuff now?
Right. Well, they said when they started legalizing marijuana that it was going to kill the market of coming over the border anyway. It was going to kill some of this drug trade. Maybe it is doing that.
Right. But 40 pounds of cocaine. And it says here that the man was sweating profusely when he was talking to the cops.
I bet.
It said he was very nervous and sweating profusely. All right, you're a Mexican with 40 pounds of coke. I guess he said he didn't know it was in the car.
Sure.
And he just told me to take this car to New York City. I was going to a construction job, and that's all I was doing.
You used to read about those people that would put it up their bungholes and, in plastic bags and balloons and stuff like that. You never hear about that anymore either.
There was a show I just caught like a commercial for. I don't know if it's on Discovery Network or one of those things, but they're doing it's catching people smuggling all kinds of stuff, and they're smuggling all kinds of crazy stuff in different ways, birds and everything. It's goofy what goes on out there. It's really crazy. What else do we see? We got the guy with the cocaine. Here's a guy. Valentine's Day didn't go too good for this guy. Let me see here. Where's the beginning of this one? I got it in here somewhere. I told you, man. I'm just kind of out of it today, so bear with us.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. A man's penis was left extremely swollen after he tried to enlarge it with a metal ring for Valentine's Day. The man wanted to impress his date on Valentine's Day, and he heard a simple trick using only the contents of his toolbox that could do the job. However, in the turn of events, the metal rings become stuck, and he was only able to remove them after medics sliced through with metal cutters. And this guy had like a huge bolt, man. This guy had a huge bolt, and what the heck did he do? I want to know this process. He had like this big washer, and he put it in there, and then all of a sudden, it started getting infected and everything, like immediately.
What, he did like a vice and he stretched it, or what the hell?
No, I guess he put it on the bottom of it and tightened it up, and then they couldn't get it off, or he slid it on with baby oil or something, and then they had to come with bolt cut. Could you imagine how scary that's got to be?
My goodness.
Okay, you got this big, like, they got a picture of it. Let me see if I could find that picture in here somewhere, but there's a kind of a picture of the bolt from the story. Okay, now he put that on there, and then you see the paramedics. They were using kind of like a little something with a wheel on it, one of those little sawzalls
coming near your member.
Yeah, you're sitting there. Some people get petrified when they go to the dentist to hear the sound of that drill.
Yeah, right.
And there you are, this thing on your junk, and this guy's over there.
Serves him right, though. He deserves it.
Yeah, so much for that Valentine's Day.
Yeah, some people shouldn't have the ability to procreate, so that might be a natural way of.
More than likely that could have been Darwin taking care of things. Hi, Diane. Good to hear from you. My buddy Jumpin' Jack said that show about the smugglers is on National Geographic Channel. Okay. Hey, Glenn Sean's checking in. He's always got something interesting to say. My buddy Keith Sturgeon. I still got to get Keith on the show. He's an excellent painter and pinstriper and artist, and he's had some of his work done for famous people, and they dig with the stuff that he does. So sooner or later, I'll get Keith on here. I'm just.
And by the way, a message from Basil. The Basil comedian says you know his number, so that was a little bit of a ribbing. Get him on the show.
You know what I think we're gonna do? I think we're gonna do a comedy special because my buddy Bob Zaney wants to come on the show, and Sean Morey wants to come on the show, and Basil, and maybe we'll just do like 5-10 minutes with each of those guys, and we'll do like the Fast Freddie cavalcade of comics.
You want to do it on Zoom? Is that you want to get him?
We'll do it on Zoom. I think that would be the way to do it.
Sweet.
I think that would be the way to go. We'll do them each separately.
Okay.
Because I don't think they really all know each other. So I think it would be cool just to go through each of their stories, throw some of their material out there, and see what they're doing, what they think 2021. Because all the comedians got pounded too. Everybody, we always talk about the bands and that sort of thing, but the comedians got their asses whooped too through this COVID. No comedy clubs going.
That's right.
And especially with comedy clubs, they're so small. And so
and if you put them like a quarter capacity, I mean, there ain't anybody showing up in there.
Yeah, So hopefully, that'll get back together soon for those guys. I'm thinking by the middle of summer, I think things are going to be back pretty good.
Agree.
I think the more people get that vaccine, and I think we're going to be looking pretty good. I really do.
I think the pent-up demand means that people are going to go out and hit venues this summer like nobody's business.
Everybody's going to be like, sailors on shore leave as soon as they get out of this.
Yep.
People are going to bust out.
Everywhere.
Well, I know, a few places have started bands back up. El Cowboy, Ice House, we started bands back up, and coming up in March, they're going to be back into their regular Saturday night schedule. And these places are doing, they're getting people in there, that's for sure.
Right.
And some people are still be, it's a super spreader, it's this, it's that. You know what? Well, I think at this point, wear your mask, wash your hands. And if you don't want to go, don't go until you feel safe. But
especially
I think
the older people.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think you see the numbers going down, and less people getting seriously ill. And I think maybe because so many people had it too. So with all the people that have had it, and I think that, and then with the vaccine, I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah, it might run out of people to infect by the
yeah, that's another thing. Right. Maybe that herd immunity that they were talking about
might be close.
But it might be close, or at least everybody's not going to get sick now until the next wave comes around. You need the shot, but I have no problem getting the shot. I have no problem getting the shot. My daughter had it. She was one of the first ones because she worked in the hospitals. My mom had it. I know a lot of people that had it. No problems.
I flipped out some lady doing laundry when I was on my trip, and I forgot my mask. So I took a towel and I wrapped it around my head a couple times. And I'm thinking, that's good enough. That's better than the filter on a mask. But she flipped the F out on me.
Oh,
no. She was mad.
As long as you didn't have any kind of ticking device.
Right. Sunglasses and a wrap towel around my head.
Brother.
I had to been a sight.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I think in the next couple months everything is going to be coming back big time. Yep. I really do.
Agreed.
I think it's going to start getting back to normal. And I think that's a picture of the guy with the little sawzall there. I think it'd be a lot cheaper to buy Viagra.
I think so.
Yeah. Just go buy some Viagra.
And really, if you see something like a home remedy, there's only certain things you want to really, when it comes to your health or what you eat. I've seen people put their cell phone in the microwave and think it's going to charge and stuff like that. Doesn't work, guys. Don't follow that shit.
That don't work.
Nope.
Florida man back in the news. Okay, good to see Florida man is getting back. A Jupiter, Florida man was arrested for throwing a live alligator into a Wendy's restaurant drive-thru. The man was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, illegally killing, possessing, or capturing an alligator. He's been released on bail. 3.5-foot gator tossed it right in the window. Wow. He got pissed at the people. And, well, first of all, he rides around with a 3.5-foot gator in their car.
I didn't even see Florida man while I was down there. I was hoping I'd run into him.
He's been, the COVID's been kind of keeping Florida man down a little bit. I think he's waiting. Once this pandemic is over, you'll be hearing more from Florida man. Slowly but surely he's getting back into it. Now, that's because we don't have time for Florida man stories now, because the space that they use for Florida man, they're putting in the stories about Mr. Potato Head not being Mr. anymore.
Right.
I mean, come on. I don't know what... There's got to be some reason of sanity. And I don't care what your preference is, what you do. It really has no bearing on me whatsoever. I'm and I don't believe you should be harassed. I don't think you should be picked on. Whatever. You do your thing. I do my thing. No big deal.
Leave each other alone.
Right. And if they want to call him, Mr. Potato Head, well, what do you call them? I mean, it's just going so far overboard. There are some things that are still, okay, a Mr. and a Mrs. is still a Mr. and a Mrs.
That's right.
No matter how you want to twist it, turn it, or
and
whatever.
It's not insulting to something that's not that. It's just a thing. It's different, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's a door, that's a window, that's a TV screen. That's what it is.
That's it.
It's just what it is. It's just what it is. We have a guitar over there. It's a guitar.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
The keyboard's not pissed off that the guitar is it, right?
Right. We're just not going to call it a musical instrument.
No.
Because it's a guitar. It's a guitar. The drums don't give a shit that he's a guitar.
Not it. We can have lots of individual things.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Somebody did a Mr. Potato Head and they turned him upside down and it looked like Steve Harvey. That's floating around out there somewhere in cyberspace, and it was hilarious. It really did look like Steve Harvey. It was pretty funny. George Harrison would have been 78 years old today. And boy, I tell you, I always like talking about the Beatles. I know when we get the old dogs in here, the old schoolers, everybody, usually when we talk music, it always comes back to the Beatles because it does. It simply does.
Right.
Any of these guys that are, up in age a little bit, every one of them, you ask them, how did you get started in music? And it was like, I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan and I wanted to be in a band. I wanted a guitar. I don't care if you're Bruce Springsteen. I don't care if you're Ozzy Osbourne, all these guys, or just Jerry Senafani, Steve Acker, any of these local guys. That's what did it, man. People saw the Beatles on TV and said, that's what I want to do. And we were talking about the Beatles with Thomas John on the last show. And it's just amazing that all the stuff that the Beatles did, they did in 6 years. When you look back at all the influence they had on people and the movies and the albums and the constantly changing music styles, and then all four of them went on to have huge solo careers, which no other band has ever had that. And it's just amazing on how the hell did this happen? And here we are 60 years later, and the Beatles are still relevant. People are still talking about the Beatles. It boggles the mind. But George Harrison, he was an interesting guy. He really was. They always called him the quiet Beatle. But I don't necessarily think that he was the quiet Beatle like on purpose. Because the way the band was set up, okay, you had Paul McCartney and John Lennon writing the songs. Okay, that's a lot right there. You really don't mess with that. And at that point, George wasn't really that good of a singer, but he was when you listen to some of these songs. I take that back. You know, he was a good singer, especially when the three of them harmonized so well. That was another thing. It's just, there's probably only maybe the Eagles, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Beach Boys, a couple other bands that really have that vocal talent on top of everything else that the Beatles had. But, you know, George was really into playing guitar. And then when the Beatles split up, you know, he just went on his own and he was able to blossom. And the first thing he came out with was the album All Things Must Pass. And it was a 3-album set, and it was just loaded with music. And people like Eric Clapton and the guys from Badfinger played on it. And just a fantastic album. And then he just went on to continue making music until, you know, practically the time he died. And very spiritual guy. I think he was like one of the people when they say he's spiritual but not religious. But right. You know, he was you know, when they were talking about peace and love, George was really lived that. You know, when they went to India and they experimented with all the sitars and everything, he was into all that stuff. And he was just such a phenomenal talent, and everybody loved him that worked with him. And then he was a member of the Traveling Wilburys there for a while. You know, him and Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and Jeff Lynne and Roy Orbison. And the whole thing started when somebody left their guitar. I think it's like Bob Dylan left his guitar at somebody's house, and they said, "Oh, we'll bring it back." And then Tom Petty or whoever said, "Yeah, I'll go along with you." And then the next thing you know, they start a band, and then they say, "Hey, I'll be in your band." "Oh, okay." And then you got all these phenomenal talents. Probably one of the biggest super groups of all times.
The lightning strike that never would have happened without that moment.
No, and I was fortunate enough to see George Harrison perform live at that Bob Dylan concert I talk about all the time, but that was something else too. And to see him and Bob and Tom Petty and Neil Young and Roger McGuinn and Eric Clapton all playing together, that was just like, right. That was mind boggling. Now I look back on that like 30 some years later, and it just, that's one of those events that the farther as the years go by, the more significant that event is. And when those guys aren't around anymore, and it's just, but yeah, George Harrison, a lot of people say that's their favorite Beatle. You know, he just kind of stayed under the radar the whole time. And then when it was his turn to shine, he just stepped up into the spotlight and away he went. So happy birthday, George Harrison.
And you know that there are like kids in this other generation that don't have those pivotal moments that are impactful in the rest of their life because they don't have stars like they did before.
Yeah.
Even things like the space exploration and those big moments. I mean, think about like all of the moments you have now are tragic moments.
Yeah. I mean, to back in our day, you know, the moon landing was huge. Rocket launches were huge. Astronauts were huge. Now, did they even interrupt any programming or anything?
Just nerdy guys like me to watch it.
Right. And it's just not the same. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's a bad thing. because boy, the Wanderlust and everything. Oh, they're going to Mars and they're doing this and they're dropping this thing on and everything. I mean, even the girls were interested in the space program back there, like in the 60s. Everybody was just interested.
Kids would say, I want to be an astronaut.
The lunar module, how did that come by? When they were docking, and they would explain all that stuff. And everybody was fascinated by that.
That's it.
And now they land this thing on Mars, and people are more worried about if Mr. Potato has dick or not, you know? That's what they're concerned
it all
about.
comes back to Mr. Potato. He's like the Kevin Bacon of all things that are wrong.
No, seriously, think about that. You know, we should be talking about, all the science involved in this and what it took to get there and how big of a feat this is. But no, we're going to put a warning label on the Muppets, and we're going to, quit calling him Mr. Potato Head. And now, see, when I was growing up, I didn't even know my friends' parents' names. I didn't even know their names. I couldn't tell you what their names were.
How'd you refer to them?
It was just Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs.
All right.
It would just be Mr. and Mrs. I didn't even know what their names were. I couldn't even tell you to this day. A lot of them, I couldn't tell you. Hey, John Rook checking in here this afternoon. What's up, Johnny? Rock and roll, brother. Tanya checking in. Diane. Okay, yeah, Diane's been commenting a lot here today. But that's, wouldn't you rather be talking about landing on Mars and crazy stuff like that instead of...
What are they really talking about? And you're a little disappointed.
And the whole social media stuff. I don't know. I 5 people dropped off my page here in the last couple of days.
Really?
And I don't know what it could be from. I don't post anything but music and jokes.
I'm telling you, no wet T-shirt contest. They're out. They're gone. And people get knocked off of Facebook left and right, and they're going to kill it. They're going to kill it. They're going to take all the fun out of it. Yep. That's how I always looked at it. Was as entertainment and fun, not for me to debate every single thing that comes along, not for me to make a smart ass comment about any single thing that comes by. I could go through my news feed all day because of all the friends that I have and the things that I follow and whatever. I could go through that all day, and I don't comment on anything. If I see something I like, I laugh, haha, chuckle, maybe share it. Piss you off for the rest of the day.
Share it, and then there are certain things. As soon as I see what the story says, then I avoid it.
Yeah.
Because I say, okay, if I look at the comments on here, I'm going to get pissed off.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll throw you a curveball, and you go, well, how can anybody be? And then you go on there, and they're having this big debate over every little single thing.
I don't get sucked into those anymore. I used to, but now I'm like, I'll pass right on by.
No.
Well, here, since we're bumming each other out here now, I have not seen so many shootings in the news since like the 80s. Like every morning, it seems like there's another one.
Oh, yeah.
It's been bad.
Warren, Southside, they're just shooting them up out there.
Yeah, and it has to be everybody's holed up in their houses, and everybody's feeling the effects of COVID now. So now's a good time to like check on your neighbors and get out of the house and get in front of people again.
I think once the weather breaks and they lift these restrictions even more, and people could go on a little vacation, or they could go out to dinner, or maybe they can go out and see a band. I'll tell you, if you've been one of these people that have been hibernating, and when you see that first night of that live band, you're going to think whatever band you just saw was the greatest band in the world.
The total restart of music.
Oh, yeah. You're going to go out there and go, wow, those guys good. I didn't realize they must have been practicing during the COVID. It's like, yeah, maybe they were, but maybe you just haven't seen a band in over a year.
Not so picky anymore because we've been wanting it so bad.
I mean, think about that. We went through a whole year
of nothing
without seeing live music anywhere.
I miss like going to Sharon Speedway and hearing the engines at racing, music and comedy. Those are my top 3.
I know. and we haven't been and traveling, and well, now you're out and you're in the bus and everything, but for the longest time there, for most of the summer, and like 1 year ago, like this week or right around this time last year, that's when it all started going to shit.
Yep.
You know, once St. Paddy's Day was the day that it just went in the tubes. That's when all the shutdowns were, and then it just got worse from there. And
you think they're going to have parades and like Irish Bob's open up, and you think they're going to be normal?
No, the parade's canceled. The parade's been canceled. Really? Yeah. And they might have had the parade, but I mean, there were people out there strongly against it. And then also there were other people that, you know, they didn't want to get their Irish band and put them in a bus to come and drive a long way and march and things like that. So there's still people out there being cautious.
Okay.
People are still being cautious. So, but yeah, next year we'll get back to the St. Paddy's Day parade.
Because you were in it for a lot of years, right?
No, we weren't in it. That was Y103 and Hot 101, and
I'll have to put a cool car in it one of these times. When the Youngstown studio will be in it.
Yeah, we'll be in it.
Stuff. Yep.
Yeah, we could do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I always like being in parades. I always liked all that stuff. You know, I like being in parades and going to the fairs and festivals, and I just used to really like that. Some people in radio business, they're like, oh shit, I got to go out there among the great unwashed, and it's like, okay, you know what?
Those are your peeps out there.
That's right, man. You got it. Now that really though, that's the key, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. You got to win people over one at a time. You got to build an audience one at a time. And some people say, well, it's a mass media, but you got to give people a reason to connect with you.
Yep.
And they're more likely to connect with you if you meet them somewhere, you shake their hand, you talk to them here, you talk to them there. It makes it a little more personal. And that's how it's such a simple principle, but a lot of people just don't grasp it.
Yep.
They just don't grasp it. I don't know if they don't think of that because of money wise, that you would have to send somebody out, or I don't really feel like doing it, but it's a mass media. Well, why do you think politicians still go knocking door to door?
Same.
Why do politicians go to shake hands and hand out little sewing kits and books and matches at the bowling alley? Why do they go everywhere? Why are they at the VFW steak fry? Why are they at the Knights of Columbus spaghetti dinner? Why do they go out to all those places? You know, if it's just mass media, well, then I'll just make a commercial and then be done with it.
That's right.
But it doesn't work that way. Why would a presidential candidate travel all around the country to meet people and to hold rallies? It's because they need that personal contact. There's something that you can't they can't replace it. If you would, you know, subscribe to the fact that, well, it's a mass media and nobody cares or whatever, then it's, you know, then you got to make them care. That's another thing. You got to make them care.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
You got to give them something to, you know, make them think about you. But a lot of people don't do that.
Nope.
Let's see. Rock news today. Led Zeppelin's album Physical Graffiti is celebrating a birthday today. That album came out in 1975. Some people think that Physical Graffiti is the best Led Zeppelin album of all times. A lot of good music on that one. Let's see. Custard Pie, The Rover, the Wonton Song, Cashmere, Trampled Underfoot, Boogie with Stu, 10 Years Gone, In My Time of Dying, Down by the Seaside. That's one of my favorites. You don't hear that. Night Flight. It probably is their best album. It's a double album, and every song on that is killer. And Robert Plant even said that he thinks that they really got it all together on that Physical Graffiti. And he said that he thinks the song Cashmere is a song that really epitomizes what Led Zeppelin's all about. So when you hear that song Cashmere, that's the one that Robert Plant says, this is Led Zeppelin. If I had to have one song out there that said this is Led Zeppelin, that would be the one. But what a great album. I might have to listen to that later on today anyways. Just pull it out and give it a listen here. Custard Pie, The Rover, Wonton Song, Sick Again, Houses of the Holy, Cashmere, In the Light. Boy, that's a good song. In the Light just goes through so many different changes throughout that song. Trampled Underfoot, 10 Years Gone. In My Time of Dying. That's another one that's just, that song's so intense. And then Down by the Seaside is just almost kind of like a Neil Young song or something. But I might have to bust that out. You owe it to yourself, everybody. We're going to give you some rock and roll homework here today. Yeah. Get out there and listen to some George Harrison. I've been doing that all day. I had the Beatles channel on XM, and I'm just sitting back and just, digging at George Harrison and the stories. They've been really doing it up great. And yesterday, they had Mike Campbell, who was Tom Petty's guitar player, and he was friends with George through Tom, and he was telling some great stories. And they were talking about that Bob Dylan anniversary show that I said I was at, and they're talking all about that. I thought that was pretty cool. But everybody who's ever met George Harrison says he's like one of the coolest people you ever want to meet. Yep. And I think that's really cool with all the Beatles, or it's true with all the Beatles. Although John Lennon was kind of a smart ass, and Ringo, he's just out there. Ringo is just out there. For a while there, he sent that statement out telling people not to send him stuff because he's not going to sign any autographs anymore. And he's got like a lot of different things. Like if you meet him, I think you got to give him a knuckle bump. And he's really out there.
He's memorable though.
And Mike Campbell was talking about when they did the video for I Won't Back Down, and it features George Harrison on guitar. And when they did the video, since it was like a Tom Petty solo project, it was Tom Petty and Mike Campbell and then Jeff Lynne from ELO, who is the producer. And George Harrison says, yeah, I'll come on the video. I'll strum some guitar. And they said, we need a drummer. And George was like, I know somebody. I got a drummer. I know this guy who plays drums. So they get Ringo to come out. And they do they film the video, but they filmed all the close-up parts on one day of like Ringo drumming. On the second day, when they were just doing the long shots, Ringo didn't show up and sent a double. No. He has a Ringo double that he sent out to like a stand-in, so he didn't have to come out and
they won't notice.
Yeah, and they put in the Ringo double.
Wow. Let me ask you something. That XM, what's your review on that? You like it? Are you a happy subscriber?
Yeah, my thing is I like such a wide variety of music. I still like listening to the radio. I still put on the radio. But to me, I like to hear something new and different every day. And to me, it's always like a musical adventure, whether I listen to the Tom Petty channel and he'll have his Buried Treasure show on there or something. And, here's a group that inspired the Beatles, or there are some days I'm just in the mood for Jimmy Buffett, and so it all depends.
Okay. And what about the non-musical channels like the Sterns and all that? You get into any of that stuff?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I put on the Comedy Channel and get a couple of laughs.
Yep.
And it all depends. But I just like to scan the dial and just all of a sudden hear a song that I haven't heard or that I never heard of or haven't heard in ages. That's what I kind of like it about. And maybe because, and I understand that like on regular radio, you're not going to play that kind of stuff because if people don't know it, if you're reaching for everybody, okay, there's a reason you got to play those songs,
right? Because
not everybody would be listening to some deep cut from a blues artist from the 50s that Tom Petty liked. So, right. But I get it. But to me, that's the kind of stuff that I like, or whatever it is, maybe it's an old, Jeff Beck cut, with Rod Stewart singing, or, Little Steven's Underground Garage. I like that one because, it's a wide variety of music. They have like these modern day punk bands and these modern day like new wave sounding bands, garage band type sounding groups, like the Dolly Rots and some people like that. And then they'll just play like some Buddy Holly and the Crickets, or an old Rolling Stones song from 1964, an album cut. So I like that, but I could see why the average Joe driving down the street is not going to go like, oh yeah,
it's different. I mean, it's really out there how they can dedicate a whole channel to just one artist and play back-to-back stuff. That is kind of cool. It's different.
I got to say hi to Jamie. Jamie's rocking with us in sunny Florida. It would be cool if you guys did a Wizard show every week. week. Hey, that would be awesome. If I can get Thomas John on here and do it every week,
he was awesome.
We will do it. We got to try to get Dr. Jerry out of retirement. That would be great. You know, I still got some other stuff I got to talk to TJ about, so he will definitely be back. Yeah. Crowd favorite by popular demand. And I was glad to finally get him on. We had a little, miscommunication, or he would have been on a lot earlier, and it was, he's got a lot of fans, a lot of people, because so many people that grew up at that time and grew up with the Wizard have so many fond memories. Because it just triggers a time in your life when all these songs were new and you could remember what you were doing, and it was just such a fun time growing up that it endears people to that. So that's what radio should really be about. Yeah. To create those memories and make you think about this time or that time or when something happened. And I think when you're doing it right, that really does endear people to, it makes you think of those good times. Yep. And oh yeah, man, I remember when like some of the people were saying, I remember when I had school the next day, but they were playing this album in its entirety on the Wizard at midnight, and I stayed up, I snuck up, and I had my little cassette recorder next to my transistor radio, and I recorded the whole album. And things like that. And you think about that, and it just makes you feel good. Or some of the places that he was talking about, Eddie and JoJo's and the Blue Light and Handsome Dan's and the Jam Bar and all that kind of stuff. It just it just brings back those good memories. It brings back those good memories. Hey, Mike Magella checking in. How you doing, Mike? Ken Marquette checking in. Richie Williams, good to see you. That's what I picked this up today. Well, this was sitting on my countertop, and this was a copy of Wolf Tracks. And back in the day, we actually put out, this was before websites, we put out a monthly or a couple week newsletter. No way. And it was like a magazine, actually. And then what you see is everything that you would find on your website these days, only it was a newspaper. And, we had, advertisements in there. And then we had... concert reviews. I wrote a review in here for Eddie Money at Stamp Auditorium in 1991. Cornell Bogdan wrote one about Tom Petty at Blossom Music Center in 1991. Now this stuff you would do on a web page, but this was like a complete thing. Then we had a list of our classic album sides at midnight. We continued on with that tradition because people love that. They listen to a half an album at midnight. What did we have on there? Cream, Wheels of Fire, Ian Hunter, Shades of Ian Hunter, Allman Brothers Band, Eat a Peach, The Doors, L.A. Woman, one of my favorites, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather, Heart Dreamboat Annie, The Firm, Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, another just a fantastic album. And, back in the day, you can get away with that. You just throw on that album, the whole album side, 5 songs on that album, everybody's jamming. We did Deep Purple Machine Head, another killer album. We did Black Sabbath Paranoid, another killer album. Back to back, we did the Beatles White Album side 1 and then side 2 the next day. Rod Stewart, Never a Dull Moment. Rolling Stones, Made in the Shade. Zeppelin 3. And on Halloween night, we did Alice Cooper, $1 Billion Babies. So we played that. Oh, speaking of that, that's another album celebrating a birthday today. Alice Cooper's $1 Billion Babies. Now that goes back to the day when you had those crazy album covers because it was like a wallet. It was like a snakeskin wallet, and you would open it up, and then it had like a big, I think $1,000 bill with Alice Cooper's picture on it, and then it had. It was crazy. Yeah, there it is. That's the Alice Cooper $1 Billion Babies album.
Oh, nice.
And you got some other free stuff in there. Yeah, you can see a picture of the band on the album sleeve, and then that big, $1,000 bill or whatever it was with Alice Cooper's picture on it. There was a lot of good songs on that one too. What was on that one? Hello, Hooray. This is almost kind of like an Alice Cooper greatest hits. Hello, Hooray, Elected, Billion Dollar Babies, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Generation Landslide, Sick Things, I Love the Dead. Boy, that's a great album, too. I think everybody that was around at that time has a copy of that one. Another album celebrating a birthday today is Bob Seger's Against the Wind. That might be his best album. I know it was his best-selling album. And Bob Seger had so much good music. And Bob Seger, being from Detroit, used to play around here an awful lot. Well, Alice Cooper was based out of Detroit for a while, too. So Alice, Bob Seger, those guys played around here a lot. Let's see. Bob Seger, Against the Wind, Horizontal Bop, You'll Accompany Me, Her Strut, Long Twin Silver Line, Against the Wind, Betty Lou's Getting Out Tonight, Fire Lake, just such great songs. People miss that, though.
Heck yeah.
From the album days. It's not like that anymore. So yeah, it is what it is. That's much as I hate to say that. And then getting back to our Wolf tracks here, we also have DJ profiles on there. This was Rod Lawless, the Lawman, and he was on our station as a morning man for a while, and it just has things that he likes, favorite concert, favorite people to party with. This is kind of funny. Favorite person to party with, Chuck Galletti. Don't let the suit or the face fool you. He's an animal. No kidding. The Lawman can dump him down pretty good, too. I can only imagine when him and Chuck Galletti would... Chuck Galletti was so good. There's a guy I would like to get on a show. I would like to talk to Chuck Galletti because, I mean, he knew his sports, but the guy was, a party animal.
Right.
I think the one time he went to cover the Browns and they found him in the parking lot of the stadium with like a joint in the ashtray and a bottle of Jack sitting on the front seat or whatever. And I
thought he was so straight-laced.
Oh, no. And then when he had his show on Sports Time Ohio, people would call in and start making junk driving. If you say junk driving, you're guilty.
Yep.
They'd make drunk driving jokes about him and stuff like that. And he was a good sport about it. I got to dig up Chuck Galletti. That would be a lot of fun to have him on the show.
Yeah,
because he's pretty open about what his problems and what he went through and everything. And
everybody knows his name even today. So.
Oh yeah, he was a character. Yeah, so the Lawman loved the party with Chuck Galletti. Go figure. Okay. Then there's an ad in here for Bullwinkles on South Avenue. Friday, CD 106 night with me. October 25th, Wilson versus Ursuline alumni party. Me and Casey were there for that one. Sunday, Super David karaoke, the Hearn Brothers, and the Urge all playing at Bullwinkles on South Avenue back in the day. Then we got... Then we had like the bar calendar. So this was like a calendar with all the bars on it, and every band, big band listing, which again, this would be awesome for a website. This would be awesome for a website, especially now when people come back. I don't know how much money they're going to have to advertise, but we had the Avalon Gardens, the Blue Light, and of course, I think Thomas John was up there at the Blue Light back at that point. The Blue Note Cafe on South Avenue. That was Handsome Dan, who recently passed away. They had people like the Blue Flames. I miss the Blue Flames. I really enjoyed partying with those guys. Mars Needs Women. There's another band, Youngstown band I haven't heard from. Saxville. We got to get Sonny from Saxville on the show. Then there was a place out in Warren called Boots and Bloomers. I think that later became Seclusions, if I'm not mistaken. Bullwinkles, of course. Yay, Bullwinkles. The Cedars. They had the Infidels poetry reading. The February's Jazz Night. The Rainbow Tribe. I want to get the remaining members of the Rainbow Tribe on. That would be a great show. As a matter of fact, I'm working on that right now. Shays and Sharpsville had like Grand Street Exit, Graphic Pink, Bad Intent, the Tees, Boulevard, the Infidels. I got to get Steve Vuich on too from Grand Street Exit. I got him in the works. The Piatt Street Down Under. That was another one of those one of those places that was like, alternative music. And it was right across from the old Piatt Street Market. Little Wings, Straight No Chaser, Chasing the Blues, the Numbers Band from Kent, they played down there. That's a cool band. Rainbow Tribe, of course, Blue Flames, they all played there. Fiesta at the Waterworks. Grandpa's, that used to be the party place for country music. The Jam Bar, DJ Danny Thomas was there with Brian Ladd. The Urge played there. Just so many great places that we have had over the years. And what else do we have in Wolf Tracks here? Hometown Heroes. They did a story about a band called Sweet Logical Regina. The album reviews we had, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion. We had the Soundgarden and Rush. And the Guns N' Roses and the Soundgarden albums were reviewed by Mike Laird, who became friends with Pearl Jam and passed away as a young man in a traffic accident. Really sad. Hack is still out there. And we got the ad for the Jam Bar. And this was all the stuff that was just going around town. Oh, and Chuck Galletti had his own column in there, too. Yeah, Chuck Galletti had his own column in Wolf Tracks, too. He was talking about football.
Nice.
What a character. Yeah, we got to get an ad in here for the Park Inn. Fabulous Flashbacks were playing there. They used to pack places. And then the 60 Days of the Wolf, we were giving away his and hers Geo trackers and an all-expense paid trip for 2 to the Super Bowl. Nowadays, I'm surprised we didn't get busted for that because, mentioned
the word and you're done.
Oh, yeah. And that always got me pissed off about how they're so protective about this. You got to say the big game. I got to the point where it was just like, I won't even mention your game.
Call it the Stupid Bowl.
Yeah, the Stupid Bowl. Give it some kind of stupid name and just call it that. Like you're really a copyright infringer. Say, I'm going to be at the Ice House for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, send you a cease and desist letter for saying
they do. And if somebody turns you in, they'll come and track you down and make you stop doing it. You know who's really the worst about that? Disney World.
Oh, yes.
You put Disney World on anything and they will shut you down.
Yes, they will.
Like immediately. I remember years and years ago, we did a giveaway, a trip to Disney World down in Florida, and we had it in our newspaper ad, and they got word of it. And this was like, man, back in the 80s. And those pricks, man, they shut it right down.
Yep.
Cease and desist right now. And actually, the same thing really goes with Major League Sports teams in general. If you want to do like ticket giveaways and that sort of thing, you have to have the approval of the team.
Yep.
You just can't get on there and just start giving away Cleveland Indians tickets. I mean, it's nuts.
Yep.
It's so stupid. It's really stupid. Don't you want people, especially the Super Bowl, the one, that's my pet peeve. Oh, you can't say the Super Bowl. Oh, screw you.
That's right.
We're promoting your event. We're promoting your event. What do you want to call it? The big game. Yeah, call it the big game. Well, then call it the big game from now on. Don't even call it the Super Bowl. But see, my problem with that is the NFL, all their teams go out and sell sponsorship rights to their stadium, naming rights to everything, and they want that mentioned on TV all the time. They want everybody in the sports page to mention its First Energy Stadium. Yep. I think, if people really wanted to get pissed off and reporters and whatever, just call it the stadium on Lake Erie in Cleveland. The game took place at the stadium on Lake Erie in Cleveland, because we're not going to mention you on our TV broadcast. We're not going to mention you in our newspaper because we're giving you a free ad. But they don't. It doesn't quite work that way. Yeah. But
it's not like you're trying to rip off and make money off of the name. You're just having a conversation about a thing. Right. It's back to the things again. Jeez.
I know.
It's always the things.
Well, what do you think? We ready to wrap this up?
That's good. We did a good one.
Yeah, we pulled it off here this afternoon. So, yes, Thomas John will be our guest once a week now forever. Now I'm working on a lot of good stuff, too, here. We had these 3 big shows in a row, so I just, you knew it was going to drop down a little bit.
You couldn't hit that momentum all the way up. No.
But seriously, with me here, that should be enough momentum to carry it. I mean, what am I talking about? This was better than all those guys guys. I had all these guys in here interfering with the show and, kind of blocking the direction that I wanted to go in. And I had to follow these guys and talk to them, when you could have just heard me talk the whole time like today. So I'm sorry that I had all those guests on the last few.
Getting in the way.
Yeah, just getting in the way, messing up the show and keeping me from saying the shit that I want to say. No, seriously though, the last 3 shows, I do got to thank our guests on those again. Thomas John from the Wizard and the Huck and Philbillies. Oh man, I went out and saw the Huck and Philbillies on Saturday, and the amount of people that watched the show and just had a great time with that. It was awesome. And then Jerry Senafani and Mark DeVecchio and Anthony Trafficani. All these guys will be back. Leanne and Rama's coming back pretty soon. They got a new song out, and
I saw they're recording a bunch.
Yeah, so we're just going to keep it rolling. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll check you out Tuesday. So have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you then. Peace out. Woof, woof.
Thank you for listening to this show
That was
on
okay.
Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us.